Welcome to the SENDcast. My name is Dale Pickles. I'm the Managing Director of B Squared and the host of the SENDcast. If you are a new listener, then welcome to the SENDcast. This podcast is all about helping everyone learn more about special educational needs and disability. Now, in this special episode, we're raising the profile of one of the events in the UK focusing on special educational needs or neurodiversity. And we are proud to announce that we are a media partner for the Autism Congress in 2025, taking place later this year in Dublin in September. And in this bonus episode, we're discussing what the conference is about, who it is aimed at, and why you should go. The SENDcast is created and produced by us here at B Squared. We have a range of products to help schools, and we have our assessment software, our evidence for learning and parental engagement system, this podcast, and also all our CPD for schools around supporting special educational needs and disability. Visit the B Squared website or click on meeting link in the show notes to book a meeting with me to take you through how our products can help you. Now, let's get on with the podcast. In this special episode, we're discussing Autism European Congress that is happening in 2025. What is it, when is it, and why should you go? Today, I am joined by Adam Harris, Dr. Peter Vermeulen, and Susanna Shulvashi. I hope I got that right. She's nodding. Yes.
Yeah.
Paranoid about that one. Adam is the CEO and founder of As I Am, Ireland's autism charity, based on his own experiences growing up as an autistic person in Ireland. And Adam serves as an executive council member of Autism Europe, among many other things. Peter is an international lecturer trainer and has spoken at every Autism Congress since 1992 and has been recognised for his 30 years of contribution to the autism community in Belgium. And again, that's a short summary. And Susanna is the former president of Autism Europe and led the organisation for 8 years, working with other organisations such as the UN and the World Health Organization. And again, that's a really short summary. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Hello there.
Hello.
Hello.
So this will be my second Autism Congress. I went up to the event in 2016 when it was in Edinburgh. I did look at going to, I think it was 2020 was in Paris or going to be in Paris. I did look, didn't happen. I didn't know, no idea. So the Autism Congress event is run by Autism Europe. So before we move on to the event, what does Autism Europe do?
Autism Europe is a European umbrella organization advocating for the rights of the individuals with autism on European level, of course, representing 7 million families and autistic youngsters, children, adults in European bodies like the Parliament or a committee. And the history is interesting because Autism Europe is actually developed together with the congresses. Even the establishment of the Autism Europe was decided in one of the congresses in 1983, maybe. And then, so it's the history of the Autism Europe and the Autism Europe congresses are coming in hand.
Nice. So kind of it sits, because where we've got in England, we've got the National Autistic Society. So is there a relationship between them? Is it separate entities completely? Is there a working relationship?
With the National Autistic Society, they are also a member of the Autism Europe. So we have from every European country, no matter whether they are a member of the EU or not, we have a representation, someone who is a member. So we are really proud of that we can call together all those members, and we have representation from East, West, South, North. Sorry, yes, North and South.
I'm watching you, and I'm seeing Peter's prompts.
Yeah. You see, we all need that.
Okay, so this will be the 14th Autism Congress, and it's going to be in Dublin, Ireland, which is going to be my first trip ever to Ireland, so I'm looking forward to that. And it's going to take place between the 11th and 13th of September. So it's not a one-day event, it's over 3 days. So what's the event about? Who's it aimed at?
So, As I Am is really proud as a member of Autism Europe to be hosting the 14th Autism Europe Congress. we're an autistic-led organisation. I think it's the first time an autistic-led organisation has had
Yes.
this honour. And what
Nice.
we're really trying to do is create a space where autistic advocates, family members and professionals can come together to look at how we can address the common barriers that face the autistic community in Europe and beyond. One of the things we wanted to do from the outset was give autistic people and families right across Europe a sense of ownership of this event. So we actually ran a European-wide consultation process to select the Congress theme, which this year is quality of life, research, policy and practice. And we'll be exploring that theme in the broadest possible way, from physical and mental health to aging, to safe and autism-friendly environments, to gender and sexuality, to communication, to housing, to advocacy, and to lots more in between. The Congress is being led by a scientific committee that I think really speaks to the diversity of our community. It has some of Europe's leading autism experts, such as Dr. Peter Vermeulen, who we're really delighted is doing that work. But it also includes a majority of autistic experts. It includes members of our community who are non-speaking. It includes members of our community with intellectual disability, because we really want to make sure that the Congress is led and represents the community in all its diversity. And what we're really committed to showing is that this can be an accessible, inclusive and supportive environment for everybody within the autism community to come and join us in Dublin. And maybe Peter could speak a little bit more about what they might hear at the Congress.
To start with, I've been indeed at every Autism Europe conference since 1992. I've seen the change from a congress that focused primarily on research, where a lot of researchers and professionals were involved talking about people who are autistic, to now a congress where there are still going to be researchers talking about issues that Adam just mentioned: mental health, physical health, well-being, community participation, and so on. But the big difference is now that this conference is more and more becoming a conference that is the result of co-creation. And co-creation means that non-autistic and autistic people join each other because we all have different perspectives, and more perspectives offer more hope than I think if we just talk about the other party. So it's the time is over that researchers talked about people who are autistic without involving them. And I think the time should also be over that autistic people complain about the non-autistic people not understanding them without going into interaction with them. What I'm really looking forward to is that this time a lot of the presentations at the conferences will be the result of co-creation. I'm talking about myself, for instance. I'm doing a presentation together with Wen Lawson, who is a big name in the autism field. He has autism. I don't know what I am, but I don't have an autism diagnosis. But the two of us will talk about something that connects all people. And I think this is going to be the first conference where we talk about topics that interest all people in the audience, whether you're a parent, whether you're an autistic individual yourself, whether you're a professional. For instance, I'm going to talk about self-compassion. I think we all need to be mild to ourselves, whatever our connection to autism is. So this, I think, is going to be a unique conference.
It's going to be really interesting for me because I got diagnosed with autism and ADHD only 2 years ago. I knew I didn't fit in from secondary school. I've known for years, but I didn't know why or where. I had some hints, but until I could learn that I could have both, then it made sense. And I've read Neurotribes this year. So that's been a really interesting kind of looking at that history. And through this podcast, I've been really lucky of realizing and learning about actually that if we go for the more social model rather than the medical model, it's not I am disabled, it's environments disable me and situations disable me. And sometimes I appear perfectly normal and not autistic would be the phrase people often say. So I'm really looking forward to kind of hearing different points of view, and not just within where a lot of my work is within the educational space, but what Adam was saying was all the way through. Is actually it's the whole life around autism and the impacts that we get to think about and listen to.
And I think one of the things that's really exciting about the Congress is the level of engagement we're seeing from autistic people, from family members and from people working within the field. Just recently, the abstract process for the Congress concluded, and we had over 800 submissions from all across Europe. So there was an unenviable task for the scientific committee to work through all of those different ideas. And, in the posters, during the oral presentations, during the keynote presentations, you will hear new research, but you will also get a sense of, policy in action. You will get a sense of where we're seeing really good practice at a European level, and you'll also hear individual testimony and experience. And I think all of those different perspectives coming together will form a really, really rich tapestry for anyone who attends the conference. I think our aim in putting together this event has been that no matter what field you work in, no matter what stage of life you're at, no matter how you're connected to the autism community, that when you're leaving Dublin on the 13th of September after 3 jam-packed days, that you have practical takeaways that you can apply to your own work, and that will be the long-term impact of the Congress far beyond September.
Yeah, actually, it's really the focus point. So this is why the Autism Europe Congresses are unique, because it's not a scientific congress. It's really calling together, there are researchers, but there are practitioners who are on the field every day, and there are the individuals with autism, so they can meet, they can on the stage, but also like on the side events and the coffee break, they can discuss anything, they can meet with each other. And also it is Autism Europe Congress, but we were just, before we started this podcast, we were just discussing the representation that we already see, like which countries are already registered, and we see, attendees from Australia, and we know from the history of the Autism Europe that usually we have participants from all over the world, literally from, South Africa, South America, North America. So it's not only the European point of view. So it's really, really diverse. And this is what so we are really, really proud of that we, always with a very amazing and very active member, like now the SAM, we can bring it together. And I think it's really special.
And there may be a couple of things that are worth pointing out to prospective attendees. So we are using a new technology to translate the Congress. So in the past, where maybe we only had translation into 2 or 3 languages, we will be able to offer translation to the full gambit of languages across the world. And we hope that will be another barrier removed for people who may wish to travel, who maybe English is not their first language or French is not their first language. The other thing that we're very proud of is the Congress is taking place in Dublin. Just last year, our government introduced the first national autism strategy for Ireland, the Autism Innovation Strategy. And As I Am is actually working with Dublin City Council to support the city to become the world's first autism-friendly capital city. So we're hoping that people can have an amazing time in the conference centre. We're also hoping they'll have a chance to see what change can look like at a societal level in Dublin as well. And we'll be able to visit many of our cultural institutions and many of our visitor attractions that have now received As I Am accreditation as autism friendly.
That's going to be a bit of a challenge because it's quite a full 3 days. It's quite long days.
And I think if Fáilte Ireland, our tourist board, were here, they'd be telling me to say people can always stay longer than 3 days. You don't have to leave when the Congress ends. We'd encourage you to take the time to see a little bit of Ireland too.
We'll be arriving the day before, probably in the morning, and then we'll be staying an extra day. And I'm hoping to go visit a school or two while I'm over there as well during the conference to find out we know what happens in England, in Scotland, in Wales, but we're not sure what's happening in Ireland in school. So it's an opportunity to find out what it's like in Ireland in lots of different ways.
Yeah, and not just Ireland, because that's the whole nice thing about the Autism Europe conference, that we're all united around autism, but we have different countries, different cultures, and that's a unique opportunity to see how people in other countries do things. That's what I remember from all the Autism Europe conferences I've been before, that I could learn about how they do education in Scandinavia or in France or in Italy, with the same ambition to create good education for autistic children, but with different angles and different cultures. And I think we can learn so much from each other, and that's the unique thing about the Autism Europe conference, that indeed we have the different cultures, and that's actually, we say diversity is a good thing, because we can learn from the diversity, and the more examples we have, the more we can think, oh, that's something we could use as well. Otherwise, everybody's running in their own circle. So this creates a great opportunity to learn from different countries and different people and organizations.
What we'd also encourage people to be aware of is that early bird registration is currently open, and we're already seeing a huge demand for tickets. So we'd really encourage people, to book as soon as possible if they want to join us. People will be pleased to know that we are currently have a number of applications in for CPD accreditation. So for those who maybe need to travel for work, we're hoping that your attendance at this event count towards whatever continuous professional development requirements you may have. And we're also really keen to make this accessible. We've developed a whole impact plan around our Congress, and central to that is demonstrating what is possible in terms of a large-scale event and accessibility. Peter has been at our national conference that we host every year, and we're very proud of some of the accommodations we make to break down barriers. And we really will be pulling out all the stops to ensure that the event is as accessible as possible for all who attend, particularly our autistic community. So just for people maybe thinking about a very overwhelming conference experience, if you have any questions, do feel free to get in touch with us, and we'd be very keen to do anything we can to make you comfortable during your visit.
I love the translation part. I'm guessing that is using AI, not a giant team of people.
Yes.
But I am playing with AI, and there's new things coming out every day that I'm still thinking of how could I use this, because I've grown a way of thinking in a certain way. And when AI comes along, it's like some of those rules you've brought up in your head can change. So yes, great.
Yeah, honestly, I am also very curious. So I am not there, of course. I am staying in Hungary, and I read this in the marketing documents and in flyers and posts, and I was also helping to distribute them on my European and local channel. But I am really, really curious how is it going to function in reality, because there are like dozens of languages are represented in that plenary room. So yeah, we will see. It's exciting.
And I'm very curious to see how AI is going to translate my peculiar form of English, because I'm not a native English speaker. So the Flanglish that I speak, I wonder if AI can cope with that.
I think it's getting better every year. It gets better. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, but you haven't heard me talk before for 45 minutes in Flanglish.
Well, once we finish here, I get to read the transcript of the podcast, so I'll give you a rating.
Okay, we will see. So, and actually, but Adam explained like how to transform a huge event autism friendly. It's also, so this is how we are learning. I mean, our participants are even learning from that, because they are picking up ideas, and if they want to organize something in their country next time, they can consider this kind of accommodation. So this is why we really, really like these huge events, because you always can pick up something that you can implement actually in the next day in your home, and that's a very big very, very big strength of this event.
Yep. And another thing that I want to add, and I remember the first time we discussed about what was going to make this conference unique. Remember when we were in Krakow, Adam, that we said every single presentation, especially in the big room, should end with 3 practical takeaway tips for parents, autistic people, and professionals. So we really want this conference to be inspiring up to the practical level, that people really have concrete tips to take away from home, because too many conferences around the world are having a wonderful content, but then people are left alone with how do I translate it to my school, to my home. And that's one of the things that we judged the submissions also. That was one of the criteria that we thought, okay, is this going to be of practical use for everyone involved here?
That's really big, because I've been to conferences and sat there, and someone talking about the way the world should be and the way we should be doing things and all the things. I'm going, yeah, that would be lovely. We can't get there. And even if we could, you haven't given me any ideas on how we would get there. So that's kind of useless. How about you bring it back a bit, maybe make it slightly less, and then give me some things on how I can start to get there. And that practical bit, something you can go away and change in your own life, in your role, is really important.
And I think to that point as well, now that the abstract process has concluded, we'll shortly be able to publish the full agenda for the Congress, which I know will be important for people in terms of predictability, but also in terms of considering kind of the practical takeaways that they can take from this event, which is such a broad remit when we think about quality of life and all that entails. Already on the site, you can see our list of keynote speakers, and I'm definitely not going to start naming them now because I'll leave one out, and there's quite a number. But it's an incredible panel of speakers from right across the world. So that information's already there. And of course, once that agenda is finalised, what we'll now be building out over the coming number of weeks is our accessibility materials and providing as much predictability in advance for people who may wish to attend the event.
And there's also on the site, there's a list of, you've got all your partners so that are there. And it's quite nice because, again, I work in education a lot, so I'm used to seeing educational companies. But actually the partners for the event and the exhibitors are from the world, from just the world. They're not specialist organizations. There's a wide range of organizations all supporting autism.
Absolutely. And I suppose that really speaks to the work that As I Am does across society, that, when we talk about autism, it's obviously critically important that we talk about improved supports and services for our community. But we also can't get stuck in service land either. We need to realize that autistic people live in the community and need to be able to access every aspect of the community. So if you look across our partners, we have, for example, AIB, a bank in Ireland that has worked with us on autism-friendly accreditation. We have IBEC, for example, who is a really important partner in terms of representing businesses and employers in the country and working with us to turn the tide on autism unemployment. And we have Codex, who are actually an office supply company who are working with us as a platinum sponsor to actually look at how we can create office furniture and office environments that meet the needs of autistic workers. So that's just some of our partners, but it shows the kind of range of partnerships. And we see Congress in an Irish context as a real platform to engage with industry, to engage with sponsors, and critically to engage with government who are supporting the event as well. I think our message for quite some time has been, we have 2,000 people potentially coming to Dublin to talk about autism. What's the story we want to be able to tell them? And I think that's a really important advocacy tool for us as well.
Excellent. So before I wrap up, anything else you want to add in?
Absolutely. And we'll have some traditional Irish music along the way as well, no doubt.
Yeah.
You can learn more about the Congress and all of the details because we've thrown a lot of information out on Autism Congress 2025. That's 2025.org.
Yeah. So we will be sharing links to the show, to the event, to Autism Europe, to the socials. They can find out. And as more things are announced, they can keep up to date with everything. And also put links to all the stuff you lot do because you're all very busy people with lots of advocating going on. And I'm really looking forward because we'll be there with B Squared. So we'll be there showing our products off, what we do, and also the podcast as well, which I'm really looking forward to. So I normally go, thank you for being on the show and tell you all about stuff we do, but I've just done that. So I'm going to go back to the thank you for coming on. And you'll find the links that I've just mentioned, all those stuff in the show notes, and you'll find those wherever you listen to the podcast or on the SENDcast website. So thank you for listening to this episode. If you haven't subscribed already, click on that subscribe button. You can follow us on social media, on Twitter, The SENDcast, on Facebook, The SENDcast, on Instagram, The SENDcast, and we're even on TikTok if you search for SENDcast. And the SENDcast is created and produced by us here at B Squared. We help to show the small steps of progress pupils with SEN make. But did you know about Autism Progress? This is our framework to help profile a pupil's autism and how it impacts them. It's based on certs and looks at communication, social interaction, emotional regulation, and flexible thinking. And Autism Progress also includes a wide range of strategies to help support the young person. Visit the B Square website or click on the meeting link in the show notes to book a meeting with me to take you through our assessment software and how it can help you. So thank you for listening. We'll be back next week with another episode of the SENDcast. It's goodbye from me.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Looking forward to welcoming you to Dublin.
Yeah. See you in Dublin.
I cannot wait. Bye, everyone.